Hey everyone, I'm sporting a 10 o'clock shadow for this review for this week in honor of the martyr Willam, who was unceremoniously booted from the show this week. Now I can't say I was a fan per se of Willam. Willam was pretty, okay for me. I wasn't really a huge fan, but then again, I didn't dislike her either. She threw shade, and I actually thought that it was pretty good for the camera. But I don't know. What did she do to get kicked off? You know, they teased that on Untucked. They were like, what in the world did, Willam do? And Fifi kept going right to the edge to tell us. But she never spilled the beans. No one ever really told us what Willam really did. Now, a lot of fans had openly speculated that Willam was just a plant. That she was really only there to kind of stir up trouble, kind of push the plot along, and then when the producers hit a brick wall, then she would be thrown under the bus and given the boot. Well, I'll tell you a little secret. If you're a reality TV newbie, and you've not really caught too many reality TV shows, don't have much history with them, there's a little secret. Whenever a producer shows up in front of the camera, it's never good. Or at least that's what we're led to believe. Now, RuPaul's producer, Luciano, I think was his name, was on the show for a reason this week. Now, the producers usually don't get involved in the show itself. They would rarely ever be a judge, like they were in this episode. There have been other reality TV shows where the producers have actually come on air and completely messed up the plot. They've thrown a twist into the game that no one really expected. So when the producer comes on the air, it usually means a twist is coming. Now, we were led to believe that the twist was that the Frenemies were having to do duets together. This is just a plot device, really. Because everyone knew that whole stupid polygraph crap. Everyone knew that Fifi and Sharon were going to end up on the same team together. Because we're led to believe they hate each other. And Latrice and Willam being on the same team, they kind of butted heads a few times this season. Mostly on Untucked, not really on the main show. But who would have expected them to win? I actually thought that Dita and Chad did a little bit better. So I didn't really expect Latrice and Willam to win. But it was part of the plot. Because for the fans, they knew that with Fifi and Sharon being on the same team, and the losing team would have to lip sync for their life. I think everybody pretty much expected Sharon and Fifi to be in the bottom two. They expected them to be the losing team. So all the Fifi fans, the fanatics, were just chomping at the bit saying, oh, yes, Fifi is going to be the one to send Sharon out the door. And all the Needlers, the Sharon Needles fans, were just chomping at the bit to send Fifi out the door. That's not how it worked out, because when they lip-synced, RuPaul was like, let's just bring Willam back up to the front stage. Even though Willam and Latrice won the competition, we're going to say that Willam committed some type of, rule violation. And Willam, you're going home. We're never told what rule violation it is. RuPaul doesn't tell us. The producer doesn't tell us. The other contestants don't tell us. We're only given a hint that, maybe it's credit card fraud. Because Willam uses other people's credit cards to buy her shoes. No, that can't be it. what was going on in her personal life that was making her so down and so sad that day in the workroom. Maybe she'd been told by Luciano and RuPaul that, you know, she'd run her course, that she was going to be going home that night in a twist. That's why she was sad. I mean, this plot has been done before in other reality TV shows. Another reality TV show that I watch, and you probably know because you've probably seen videos that I've been doing about it, is Big Brother. Now, a couple of years ago, Big Brother was climbing in the ratings, and they were doing quite well. It actually brought back one person from the previous season, Jesse, which the fans hated. And he had formed this alliance in the house, and they were just mauling through people, tearing everyone up. Well, the producers decided they had to end this. So they actually came up with a special power that they were going to bestow on whoever America wanted to have this power. It was a coup d'etat. It had been used like once before in the previous season. Well, it had been bestowed, I should say, in a previous season. But they actually were not allowed to use it because they broke the rules and told people that they actually had the power. But that's a long story. Well, America loved Jeff and Jordan. If you remember them, they also went on Amazing Race one season as well. Well, Jeff used a coup d'etat and overthrew Jesse, the person that the producers had come back because fans hated him. Which that just threw his alliance completely in disarray. And to drum up, you know, support for the show and to keep ratings going up, they actually had one of the house guests have a complete meltdown. We were led to believe that Shima Simone was actually kicked off the show by the producers. The producer, Allison Grodner, actually came on to the, show, came right out in front of the cameras, told Shima in the diary room, "You're coming out the back, you're leaving." All because she threw a mic into the hot tub. You know, it's an expensive piece of equipment, but they're always replacing these things, so it's not like it was that big of a deal. But we were led to believe that because she got upset and she threw the mic into the hot tub, that rule violation was bad enough to get her kicked off the show. And her alliance crumbled, and only one person from that alliance actually survived to the end, and actually ended up sitting in the chair right across from Jordan, who ended up winning that season. So America, they got their voice heard, and Jordan actually won. So for the next couple of years, the super fans were doing their audition videos and filling out their application for Big Brother, and they were saying the contestant that they liked the least on that show was Shima, because she disrespected the game. It became just like the most popular fad for everyone to do. Just throw Shima under the bus every chance they got. Now, Shima pretended to be pretty upset on Twitter. She was kind of reserved, though, in her comments, but she just kind of faded off, just walked off the set. Didn't really give a rat's ass that she got kicked off the show. It gave her more exposure and it helped her career, so she really didn't care. And it also was kind of interesting that she got on the show because she knew Marcellus Reynolds, which was a previous contestant on Big Brother. It was a favorite of the producers. So they were best friends, and she got on the show, and Marcellus, he didn't really come to her defense that much on Twitter. He did a little bit, but mostly they were all just mum about the subject. Flash forward a few years, and fans kind of find it interesting that these reality TV conventions that they started having, CBS was sending Shima. Shima was representing Big Brother, the show that she got kicked off of. Amongst a panel of, former house guests, she was actually included. Now, if you got booted off the show because of rule violations, and you broke your contract, why would you still be doing publicity stunts for the show and for the network? In these reality TV conventions, she did kind of hold a grudge against the producers, and she was telling everybody not to trust the producers or whatever. But she also said a few telling things, that the producers are the ultimate law in the reality TV world. They're the ones that make the show. Their paychecks are written by the ratings. So, if they want to throw you under the bus and write a plot line, even though it's a reality TV show, and they want to write a plot line for you, they'll do it. They'll find one way or another to get rid of you. And that's what I think happened with Willam on RuPaul's Drag Race. That's why this is not really going to be a review of the episode, because actually the episode was pretty boring. It's just basically my observations of the whole Willam situation. I think that rather than sending Fifi home, or sending Sharon home, two fan favorites, and they knew, going into the season that these were going to be fan favorites, and rather than dismantling that rivalry, because the other contestants really didn't have that much chemistry. Latrice and Willam butted heads a little bit, but really wasn't that bad. Dita kind of got along with everyone. Chad got along with everyone. Latrice was the mother. If Fifi was gone, who would Sharon fight with? If Sharon was gone, who would Fifi fight with? There'd be no real drive to go on into the final stretch of the season. So they couldn't kick Fifi or Sharon off. They had to kick somebody else off. And they probably made a decision earlier in the day that if Fifi and Sharon ended up in the bottom two, then Willam would go home. I mean, that could explain why Willam ended up barfing all over the side of the stage when the lip sync announcement was about to be made. That, maybe the nerves got to it and Willam was finally coming to the realization, hey, they told me earlier today that I'm going home. And she probably got so nervous and so upset, she puked all over the place. Because we weren't told that she was sick. We weren't told what the personal issue was in her life. We weren't told anything. All we know is that Willam threw up, and then Sharon and Fifi were saved, and Willam went home. What do you guys think? Do you think it was all a plot device? Do you think that Willam was a plant all along?